On the morning of September 10, 2025, the calm of the Polish countryside was shattered as Russian drones crossed into Polish airspace, their dark forms gliding silently above fields just after dawn. The incursion was not only unexpected, but it also marked a significant escalation in the ongoing tensions between Russia and NATO. Within moments, alarms blared in Polish command centers. Military personnel scrambled to their stations, relaying urgent messages and coordinating a rapid response. The sense of urgency was palpable as every second counted. NATO fighter jets, already on heightened alert due to recent provocations, were scrambled into the sky. In a display of speed and precision, they intercepted and shot down the drones before they could reach any populated areas, averting what could have been a far more dangerous incident. This was no longer just a test of boundaries, it was a direct confrontation. The border, once a line on a map, had become a flashpoint, with soldiers on both sides bracing for what might come next. In Warsaw, the government wasted no time. Officials convened an emergency press conference announcing the invocation of Article 4 of the North Atlantic Treaty. This move signaled to the world that Poland perceived a direct threat to its national security, and it demanded immediate consultation with its allies. The North Atlantic Council responded swiftly, calling an emergency meeting in Brussels. Delegates from all 32 member states arrived, determined to present a united front in the face of Russian aggression. The incident highlighted the growing volatility along NATO's eastern border, where Russian military maneuvers and exercises have become an almost daily occurrence, keeping the region on edge. For ordinary Poles, the morning's events were a chilling reminder of their country's position on the front lines of a new East-West standoff. Families gathered around televisions and radios, anxiously awaiting updates, their sense of security shaken. The government's decisive action was meant to reassure its citizens, but it also sent a clear warning to Moscow. NATO's red lines are not to be crossed without consequence. The world was watching, and so was Russia. Now, as NATO leaders gather to deliberate their next steps, the alliance faces a critical test of its unity, determination, and resolve in the face of mounting threats on its eastern flank. To grasp the gravity of Poland's action, we must delve into the history and significance of NATO. NATO, or the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, was born out of a necessity to create a unified front against potential threats. Established in 1949, NATO was a direct response to the growing influence and expansion of the Soviet Union after World War II. It was a collective defense pact among Western democracies, designed to ensure mutual protection. The core principle of NATO is simple yet powerful. An attack on one member is considered an attack on all. This principle of collective defense has been a cornerstone in deterring aggression through unity and solidarity. Throughout the tense years of the Cold War, NATO's promise of mutual defense, bolstered by American nuclear power, played a crucial role in preventing direct military conflict with the Soviet Union. The mere presence of this alliance acted as a significant deterrent. After the Cold War ended, NATO did not dissolve. Instead, it adapted to the changing global landscape. The alliance took on new roles, including peacekeeping missions, counterterrorism efforts, and expanding its membership to include former adversaries. The alliance intervened in the Balkans, bringing stability to a region torn by conflict. It led the mission in Afghanistan, aiming to dismantle terrorist networks and support the establishment of a stable government. NATO also welcomed former Warsaw Pact nations, integrating them into the alliance and promoting stability in Eastern Europe. Today, NATO is more than just a relic of the past. It's a dynamic and evolving alliance. It confronts new threats, from cyber attacks to hybrid warfare, adapting to the complexities of modern security challenges. The strength of NATO lies not only in its military capabilities, but also in its political solidarity. The unity among its members is a powerful deterrent against any potential aggressor. The recent events in Poland serve as a stark reminder that NATO's founding promise of collective defense remains as relevant today as it was during the Cold War. The shield forged in the Cold War is now being tested in a new era of uncertainty, proving that the alliance's commitment to mutual defense and security is unwavering. NATO has expanded from 12 founding members in 1949 to 32 today, reflecting Europe's shifting landscape. Key waves of enlargement included Greece, Turkey, and West Germany during the Cold War, and a major post-Cold War expansion eastward. The 1999 entry of Poland, Hungary, and the Czech Republic symbolized the end of Cold War divisions. The 2004 enlargement brought in 7 more countries, pushing NATO's borders to Russia's doorstep. Recent security crises prompted Finland and Sweden to join, fundamentally reshaping Northern Europe's defense. Each new member commits to democratic values and collective defense. This diverse alliance is now united by shared principles and faces a real-world test on Poland's border. NATO's strength is not just military might, but the solidarity of its members. By invoking Article 4, Poland triggered NATO's formal consultation process, a rarely used but powerful mechanism at the heart of the alliance. This move signals that a member feels its security is under threat and needs immediate attention from its allies. Article 4 allows any member to call an urgent meeting if it feels threatened, putting its concerns at the top of the alliance's agenda. It's a diplomatic alarm bell, ensuring that the issue cannot be ignored and must be addressed collectively. This doesn't mean automatic military action. It's about sharing intelligence, assessing threats, and building consensus. Allies exchange information, analyze the situation from every angle, and weigh possible responses together. Ambassadors gather in Brussels, discuss the crisis, and consider a collective response. These meetings can last for hours or even days, as every nation's perspective is heard and debated. The power of Article 4 is its political weight. It signals unity and puts adversaries on notice. When NATO stands together, it sends a clear message that any threat to one is a concern for all. Outcomes vary, sometimes a joint statement, sometimes concrete military steps like deploying air defenses or increasing surveillance. The alliance adapts its response to the severity and nature of the threat. The process ensures any response is measured, proportional, and backed by all allies. Consensus is key. Every member must agree before action is taken, reinforcing the alliance's collective strength. For Poland, this is about more than procedure. It's a call for solidarity in the face of real danger. It's a moment to remind the world that NATO's promise of mutual defense is not just words, but a living commitment. The alliance's next moves will be shaped by these urgent consultations. Every decision made here could have far-reaching consequences for security in Europe and beyond. The world is watching how NATO responds to this challenge, as the alliance's actions will set the tone for international security and cooperation in the days ahead. Poland's invocation of Article 4 is serious, but not unprecedented. Since 1949, Article 4 has been used 8 times, often in response to crises on NATO's periphery. Turkey has invoked it during the Iraq War and Syrian conflict, leading to defensive deployments by NATO. In 2022, Russia's invasion of Ukraine prompted multiple members to call for consultations, resulting in rapid reinforcement of NATO's eastern flank. What's different now? This incident involved the direct downing of Russian drones over NATO territory, a clear violation. The alliance must now decide how to respond to a deliberate and escalating pattern of provocation. Each invocation of Article 4 is a test of NATO's crisis management and unity. The stakes are higher than ever. Article 4 and Article 5 are the backbone of NATO's crisis response. Article 4 is about consultation, bringing allies together to assess threats and coordinate. Article 5 is the ultimate commitment collective defense if a member is attacked. Article 5 has been invoked only once, after the 9/11 attacks on the United States. It doesn't mean automatic war. Each ally decides how to assist, from military action to sanctions. Article 4 is often a precursor, allowing facts to be established before any escalation. This process prevents hasty decisions and ensures unity. Poland's move is the first step, determining if Russia's actions could warrant an Article 5 response. The alliance's credibility rests on these mechanisms working as intended. The world is watching to see if NATO's deterrent remains real. The drone incident is more than a technical breach. It's a calculated test of NATO's resolve. Multiple incursions in 1 week suggest a deliberate Russian strategy to probe and normalize violations. This salami-slicing approach pushes boundaries incrementally, hoping to avoid a major response. By shooting down the drones, Poland and NATO have drawn a clear line. Drones, being unmanned, lower the risk of escalation, allowing Russia to provoke without immediate consequences. NATO's response must be strong enough to deter, but measured to avoid wider conflict. Likely steps include increased air patrols, enhanced air defenses, and private warnings to Moscow. The goal: restore deterrence and make future provocations costly. The alliance must show that its red lines are not just rhetoric. After Poland's Article 4 request, NATO's North Atlantic Council convened for urgent talks. The first priority: establish a shared understanding of the threat and agree on a unified response. Expect a strong statement condemning Russia's actions and reaffirming NATO's commitment to Poland's security. Beyond words, NATO will likely boost surveillance and intelligence along its eastern flank. Military reinforcements are on the table: more fighter jets, air defense systems, and increased readiness of rapid response forces. These are defensive moves, meant to deter further aggression without provoking escalation. The alliance aims to restore deterrence and reinforce its boundaries. At the same time, NATO will keep diplomatic channels open to avoid miscalculation. The challenge shows strength and unity while preventing the crisis from spiraling out of control. The next days will shape the alliance's future posture. The crisis on Poland's border is a test for NATO and for the international order. How the alliance responds will send a message to Russia and other potential aggressors. NATO's collective defense is not just a treaty clause. It's a real guarantee for millions. The incident highlights the importance of integrated air defenses and constant vigilance. Modern threats are hybrid: drones, cyber attacks, disinformation, requiring new strategies. The alliance's procedures, like Article 4, allow for calm, coordinated action in crisis. Stability is not automatic. It must be actively defended. The outcome of these consultations will shape the rules and security of the world we all share. This is about more than drones. It's about the future of peace and deterrence in Europe.